loves, it's me, Love Jones. I am back with another one. It's for a few minutes, so ain't gonna make these long. Trying to charge my devices up as much as I can. It's been a very eventful day. It's crazy out here. It's crazy out here, y'all. Gotta hurry up and get from out here. Let's see what's in the energy. The trash. Absolutely trash. Black magic, devil worship. A lot of that going on right here, yeah. That's all they do. I don't know how I get to be the product of people's black magic. Can't be too good of a person because you end up being the target of all the hateful people. Imagine that. So you got to try to be just as hateful of them to survive in the world. Imagine that. And then people, they don't appreciate the good people. And so they'll just sit back and just watch you go through all the hateful, evil shit. And they won't say anything at all. Yeah, just like they won't know about it. Just like they don't know. You know what they say? Those are the worst ones. 222 on the phone. Those are the worst kind of people. It's one thing to have the evil ones around, but it's another thing to have just a bunch of complacent people that just sit back and just watch the evil occur and does nothing about it. They just watch it. They come straight out of church. Just watch it. There's nothing, absolutely nothing at all about it. All you gotta do is pay people. I should have been left this fucking country. This is what I should have been did. Just left the whole entire country. Because now I'm stuck here. Now I'm stuck here. And now I have to try to go to the United Nations instead, right? To try to get some help. Because there's too many big people in this. It's too much money involved. It's too many neighborhoods and cities and states and shit involved in this. So now I gotta go to the United Nations and try to get help. Not knowing if I'm actually gonna get help because who's there that's gonna help? 333 on the phone or on this tablet. Who's there that's gonna give me help, right? Supposed to be the peacemakers. But hell, these people out here supposed to be the peacekeepers and the lawmakers, and they ain't doing shit. So how you know if you go to the United Nations you're even gonna get the help? You don't know. But they say expect nothing. Expect nothing at all. Especially when you're dealing with people like this. It's like, they money ain't even that long. That's what I'm kind of confused about. How is this being paid for like this when the money is not even that long? It gotta be a lot of people involved. And maybe it's more, hell, whose money are they using? We did see a lot of stolen intellectual property and stolen inheritance and stuff. So whose money are they using? Maybe that's why it looks so long, because it ain't their money. They're able to go in and just spend other people's money and have people targeting you with your own money, thinking these are good people and that these the people who they should be looking up to, when they really just clout chasing. But they clout chasing people who ain't got that much money. They're using your money. Isn't that funny? So yeah, you know what? Envy. That's what it comes down to. Somebody's envious and you have to suffer. People have to suffer because people are jealous and envious because people want your position in life. And so what do? Try to knock your life back over and over again. I've never been in this situation. I just seen 55, 550, y'all. I've never been like this before. And the fact that I worked this hard to get to where I was and that I ended up like this and everybody just pretend to not know what's going on. It's sad. They'll let you know right where you stand with people. I'm just thinking back at Steven, supposed to be my manager, my boss, right? And he had it out for me the whole time. Ain't no telling who paid him to do what. Because he came in with an agenda. He knew exactly what he was going to do and how he was going to do it. All he needed was a little bit of time and permission to get it done. That's all he needed. And he found something real quick. That's so funny because I've been trying to leave that job for the longest. For whatever reason, felt like I was stuck there. I felt like I was almost blacklisted even back then because I can tell you the last interview that I had, I was moving around because I felt uncomfortable then. I felt like I was being harassed, and so I moved around. I volunteered to shift my stores around as to be a relief instead of just at one store to bounce to different stores because I was uncomfortable with the people that I kept being surrounded by. So I felt like if I just bounced around to the different stores, it would make it a little better. At least people wouldn't know where I'm at to try to harass me and stop me like they were doing. But I remember being at one of the other stores, not the one I actually lived at, the one I was just working at. And I was doing a whole interview. Whole interview went well. All they had to do was check references. That was the last interview that I got, y'all. That was the last interview. And it went great. I don't even know why they didn't hire me. And all the applications that I filled in after that, never got a call back, never got a response. You never get anything. And so I felt like I was blacklisted way back then. Like I wanted to switch jobs. I was trying to get up out of there because I felt the energy way back then. Even before Steven got there, it was with Brittany. She used to do little shady things. I was actually told by the management that she would come into the meetings with them and constantly bring me up about stuff. And it's so funny because I've never had issues with any other management before. Never. But it started with Brittany and it ended with Steven. And there was a manager that came in between them, who was with the same shit, y'all. He was with the same stuff. And he came in with this nasty little attitude, like this matter of fact attitude. And I never seen him again after that. 10:01 on the phone, on the tablet. I never seen him again after that. He quit. They never said the reason why. They just said it was a disagreement, you know, some discrepancies going on, and he decided that he wasn't going to work there anymore. This man quit. And I just feel absolutely like it was for me. I feel like, you know, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in that company. I feel like it's a lot of people that are part of these societies and stuff that work for them. A lot of the higher up people. And so you're able to watch them just kind of move around and react to certain things. And if you know, you know. If you know, you know. So I would be doing certain things or thinking certain things, and you would just see their reaction, their response to certain things, until I was kept a real close eye out on. And it's so funny because they went from bragging about me and trying to get me to do all the stores work for them because I was so good at collections and making phone calls and all of that. They went from trying to get me to do everybody's work from them. You know, you're so good at this, so if you can just do it for all the stores, that'll be so great. But never offering me a raise, y'all. Never offering me any kind of extra money. But again, they always want you to pick up extra work. I worked for them 11 years. In 11 years, I went from $10 to from $9 to $10 an hour in 11 years. That's less than 10 cents a year, y'all. In 11 years, I worked for them, and they allowed someone to just come in who was barely there for just a year. And he wasn't even with us for a year. He was only with us for a few months because he, I guess, still training or doing whatever he does somewhere else. And after they did the redistricting, he ended up over there with us when the manager we had quit. And so, yeah, like I said, it started with Brittany. And it's so funny because I told y'all I felt like my house was being broken into regularly. It wasn't felt like, I knew it was. Sometimes I would struggle getting my key in the lock because they've been tampered with the lock in my back door. Never with the front door, always with my back door because the front door had cameras over it. Even at one point, the camera in my office kind of pointed towards the front door where you can see who was going in and out my door. And so it was never the front door, always the back door. But one day I was in a district meeting and she was doing what she normally do. I assumed it was holy water she would put on her hands because it wasn't hand sanitizer. But I noticed she would put it on her hands every time right before I came in. Like right as I was coming in, right before she handed me the sheets. But she's already handed everybody else theirs, you know. I come in, I was never the first one coming in on time, but I was never the first one getting there. It'd be several people there before me. And so she would always put this substance on her hand that I eventually just brushed it off as like holy water or something. She would always put that on her hands before she passed me my papers. And so one day we were in a district meeting and she brought up just kind of out the blue. She was like, yeah, and we cooperate with the police. And y'all know me and my gut feelings and how my little spidey senses start going off and I start feeling stuff and thinking about stuff. And so I got to thinking, yeah, we do cooperate with the police. We absolutely do, but there's a protocol to it. And before you allow them in someone's place, you have to have a warrant. Not only that, before anyone went in my place, me being a property manager, they had to give me a 24-hour notice. And so not only was I not notified by anybody going in and out of my place, I got to thinking after she said, yeah, we cooperate with the police, that's probably like, there's someone, I don't know, because I've also had fake police officers that I've had to report around my place. So it's like, is someone pretending to be a police officer, or is she working with somebody? Because she was already trying to get me fired, y'all. She was already trying. I was told by the management over her that she would talk about me in every meeting. And I was doing my job. She was upset. I'll tell y'all what it was. I used to keep my door locked. And for whatever reason, she had this thing to where it was like a power struggle. For whatever reason, she would come in and she would move stuff around in my office. This is my office now. My office. She didn't have to work there. She only came there. But she would come and she would move stuff around in my office. She would take things. She would give other people permission to take things. I would think I have something and I don't have it because she'll been and came in there and moved it. If I have extra stuff, she'll make sure there's never extra anything there. It's like she wanted the office to be like she wanted it to be, although it was my office. So it was almost like a power struggle with her, and I don't know why. And so in spite of everything being moved around and separated, and you can't order this and you can order that, all the new rules that came with her, we just went along with it. You know, it is what it is. You just try to go along with it. You just face the fact that this is the new management and it's the BS you got to deal with, right? But my door, my work door, is what she had an issue with. Now, when I first was hired, again, I worked for the company for 11 years. I've been through like 6 district managers in those 11 years. So you can imagine I was capable of doing their job. But they don't hire from within, right? So I stay in the same position forever. While they hire some random people to come in and manage us. Isn't that fun? So she would get upset when she came and my door would be locked. So come to find out, she would go back to other managers, the higher up managers, and would be expressing to them, it's like almost complaining to them about me keeping my door locked. And it got to the point where one of the managers brought it up to me, 1808 on the phone. And what he said was like, you know, I just want to give you a heads up that this door that you keep unlocked is being brought up every single meeting that we have. And although they hadn't said anything about it yet, they probably will get to the point they're going to say something about it because it's being brought up every single time. It's being brought up often. I was like, okay. Again, he went out the way saying, you know, I'm not saying you have to change anything or do anything now, but I'm just giving you a heads up that it could be brought up soon. This is the management over her now. She just the district manager. This is the senior district manager, so the one over her, and the regional managers that she's bringing this up to. All of those managers over at the top of her, constantly wanting them to say something to me. Now, when I first was hired 11 years ago, I had a clicker that went to my door, so people would come up, the door would be locked, and when you hear them pull on it or when you see them at the door, you would buzz them in. Well, after the buzzer broke, Public Storage did not want to fix it anymore, y'all. So the buzzer broke, they refused to fix it. So what they did is they put in another kind of door that also automatically locked. And because that door automatically locked, it didn't buzz. You had to twist the handle on it. The customers twisting the handle, going out constantly. After so long of twisting the handle, that door had to be fixed over and over again, y'all. Over and over and over again. They spent way more money repairing that door than they would have spent just fixing the door to begin with, just fixing the whole mechanism that was originally there. But you can't tell them anything because they're management, right? They know what they're doing. That's who they hire over us. 2020. And so yeah, she would so that door kept being broken. They kept having to come out and fix it over and over again. Eventually they got tired of fixing it and they put another door in. Or they didn't put another door in, they changed the lock on it. So this time the door no longer locked by itself. For years and years the door would lock by itself, but now the door no longer locked by itself. So I would just keep the door locked. When I see a customer come, I would unlock it and let them in, per usual. Well, when she got there with all her changes and stuff she was making, and come to find out wasn't changes with the company, it was changes that she just wanted to instill in us. Even going so far as to tell us we no longer had these positions. I was, everybody was on the same page. Now, we didn't have property managers and relief managers. Now, everybody was a property manager. Trying to say it was no difference between us, somebody who was there every day, and the relief, someone who was there the 2 days you all. So she changed a lot. Like I said, come to find out, a lot of it wasn't even changes with the company. It was just what she wanted to do. And so she wanted me to keep my door unlocked. I wanted to keep the door locked. It's always been a safety issue. That's why the door was originally had the clicker go to it. But she wasn't there when the clicker was on the door. She wasn't even there when they put the other locking door that automatically locked. She was only there after we got the last door, and she wanted me to keep it unlocked, and I refused to keep it unlocked. And so yeah, that was her issue with me, y'all. That was her issue. And so yeah, she, just like Steven, she did a lot of little sideways things. She retaliated a lot. She caused a lot of confusion. She did it on purpose because she could. And so I knew then, way back with her, that it was I no longer wanted to work for the company because of how she was. I didn't. And that was actually, it was her that was my manager when I was in the office doing a whole nother interview, y'all. And it was her that I don't know why. She was the management. I felt like if she wanted me gone, then she would just help me out. I mean, every other management that I had, they'll tell you in a minute, if you want to go somewhere else, we're going to help you do better. But for whatever reason, these management that was coming in, that they didn't want to help you do better. They wanted to exercise their power by any means necessary. And so that was her problem with me. I used to see her all the time. Like I said, it looked like she was putting holy water or something on her hands every time I came in for a district meeting. And it got to the point where I felt so singled out and so targeted in the district meetings, 2333 on the phone, that I just stopped going to the district meetings. I just pretended to forget or just not see the sign, because a lot of times the sign would go up on days that I wasn't at work, and the day that I would come into work would be the day of the district meeting. And so I just started pretending to not see the sign, whatever. It's not like it's never been an issue before. If somebody had a reason they couldn't make it to the district meeting, pretty much talk about the same stuff over again. So it's never been an issue before. You just stay behind, and you know what? You can make yourself useful. Watch everybody's screen. Watch everybody's computer screen while you're there. And so yeah, I got to the point where I stopped kind of going to the district meetings because I felt targeted by her. But eventually, after a lot of stuff had taken place, they done some redistricting, and she was no longer in the district. She was the district manager over another district, and I wound up in another district, and that's how I ended up with Steven, who was even more horrible than her. More horrible than her. He came straight in like he had an agenda. He knew what he came in to do. And that's exactly what he did. But anyway, I kind of veered off to tell y'all this story. We 25 minutes in already. yeah, my whole point was my house was being steadily broken into. And she made that comment that we cooperate with the police. So now I'm putting two and two together, trying to figure out, what is it, the police that was coming in my house? And so I'm looking at stuff as I'm getting in the house, and I'm noticing, the sockets on the wall have been tampered with. Look like extra holes be put in the wall or something. Almost like they had listening devices or something in all the walls and stuff in my house. Stuff would be extra dusty. My back door where I set my keys would sometimes work and sometimes it would not. You can tell something else had been jammed in there. My back door also, at some point, you can see all the light from the outside at my back door. It's like the seal underneath the door. They had pushed so much stuff under there. It was no seal anymore. At one point, you can just see nothing but sunlight shining underneath my door. And so, yeah, it was real crazy. It's real crazy. Gemini. I keep saying Gemini and Earth signs. Yeah. It's so funny because earlier when I was doing that reading, it said something about celebrity. Yeah. I know some that also have access to public storage that have also, done things to make me feel like they didn't really like me. And so with all the management, when there's big people coming in, like big people with money, meaning like celebrities, people you can clout chase behind, they're not going to deal with the little people. They're going to deal with the management. And so, yeah. I see bribe right here, y'all. Somebody could have been bribed to do something, because all I know is all hell broke loose at a job that I've never had any issues with at all. Like I said, they went from bragging about me, wanting me to do the job of all the properties, to it seemed like everybody targeted me. Blackmail. Cut the deck on blackmail. Abusive. Yes, they were abusive. Yes, I was retaliated on. Yes, they found reasons to say things. Gemini. Could be a Gemini that bribed somebody at the job. Could be a white Gemini or a Gemini with the name white that bribed somebody at the job to do what they did, to try to get rid of me, to be abusive to me while working there, to make it hard for me. Because, yeah, it just all started happening at one time. At the same time, like I said, feeling like I'm being followed, watched, in my house, at my house. And I go to grocery stores, and I'm at the gas station. People would be sitting in the parking lots all the time. That's when I started noticing all the military vets sitting in parking lots of everywhere that I go. Everywhere that I frequent, they were there. That's when I started noticing a lot of changes in the places that I would visit. It's like the staff would change. All of a sudden, there were new people working in the banks that I would go to. Even the ones that I go to for myself, the ones that I would go to for my job, everything was starting to change around me and look very different from what it was. Yeah, look, I just cut the deck again on clout chasing. Right behind it, y'all. I can't make it up. Artists. And so I don't blackmail. Cut the deck on blackmail. See what's behind it. The church is involved. I also felt like the church, yeah, that too. And so I would notice a lot of police officers meeting up at the church, which I thought was strange. It's good, praise God and everything. But normally they don't do stuff like that when it comes down to businesses, city businesses, local businesses, like your regular owned businesses. They try not to. They don't do anything to like celebrate religions and stuff like that. You try to keep that out of the workplace because you can't do one religion and you might have other people there that are other religions. And so I don't know, I just found it real strange that I would sometimes just go up the street, pass by the Rehoboth, I think it's called, church, and there would be so many police officers like gathered there and met up. Also, my relief that I just got out of the blue, I don't know why they gave me her, but they gave me her. And I thought it was so funny. She pull up and her front of her tag, I always say it said Jesus is peace or something like that, but I think it probably gave some of Psalms 91 on her tag. That's where she drove around like she was the most peaceful and most pleasant person that loved God and was so into the Bible. But let me tell you, that's all a front. It was all a front. That's like one of the most, she do a lot of little sneaky stuff too. She'll do little sneaky stuff towards me, have this nasty attitude towards me, and then she would go and talk to Brittany and make it seem like it was me doing it towards her. And so yeah, you have to watch them kind. And so they gave me her as a relief. And normally the reliefs go when you do the redistricting, and they go with the district. They go with the manager, wherever, But for some reason, like, she stayed with me. And I was like, well, that's never happened before. We've done redistricting several times in these years that I've been here, and that's never happened before. The reliefs normally go with the other people. They don't stay. So why did they leave me her? We just gonna call her Missy Ann. I'm like, why did they leave her here? So funny. You never think she was like she was. I'm telling you. Based off that tag, the little sign on the front of her car, little like she is, and looking like an older, you would never know that she is the way she is. It's like she put on a whole front. Her image, if you the kind that go off of looks, her image will make you feel like she's so innocent, and she's not. So yeah, not only was she part of the church, but I also, like, I noticed a lot of them on my property a lot. A lot of them stayed on my property. And it was like, again, all of this started happening all of a sudden. You can imagine me working for a company for 11 years. I know what it's like every season, 33. Like, I know what it's like. And so I'm seeing these changes in the people that's coming to my property now. And it was a lot of church people too. Matter of fact, one night I called the police because it was after hours and I noticed someone sitting. They were just sitting outside. I'm like, why are they sitting out there after hours? Again, I live on the property, so I don't want them sitting out there. I'm supposed to be the only one with 24-hour access to this property. But that wasn't the case. Yeah, that wasn't the case. Not only did they start giving everybody, a whole lot of vendors, 24-hour access, but you would have the random people that would just pull up and sit in the parking lot for no reason. So this particular night, it was way after hours. I just so happened to look outside and see them, or see him. At the time, I didn't know it was a him. And so I called the police, and I was waiting for the police to come. 3444. Called the police, was waiting for them to come. Me kind of standing outside. On my balcony. I think he had his window down or something. I don't really remember how I got a chance to see actually who he was. But eventually, like, it was before the police came, and I was like, you know, you can't be out here. And he was like, yeah, I know, I'm sorry. I was so tired. I got off the interstate and I just wanted to try to rest. That's the excuse that he gave me. So we have 2 highways near me. 3 actually. 4 you could say. 4 highways. It was one in each direction, y'all. About 4 highways. All of those highways, when you get off, you have several stores that you're passing by long before you get to my store. But he came to my store. He came right there to Public Storage to sit in the parking lot. And y'all know how I told y'all, people like to come sit around me, just sit. So he came all the way, so-called, he got tired. But like, what did you get tired from, coming from? Because you have a storage here. And so you know the rules. You go to the church right up the street, Rehoboth. He got the cross hanging in his window and everything. So yeah, the church, when I see the church involved, made me think about all those things. I'm telling him he can't be there. He's giving me this excuse, telling me he got tired and just pulled off. But it was so many other things. You could have stopped at before you got here into a parking lot of somewhere you know you're not supposed to be in after hours to do whatever you were doing out there. No, I like to say, pray for me, don't pray on me. But I feel like I had a lot of people praying on me. And so I was thinking, where would you be coming from that you would even be tired? Like, you live here in Georgia. You go to the church right up the street. You ain't driving an hour, 2 hours away to go to church. You got to stay right around here somewhere. It's like an excuse. He just giving an excuse. He's lying. The person with the cross hanging up in his window. The so-called church person that's so into God, you sitting out here lying about what it is that you're doing. And so yeah, that's the type of stuff that I have to deal with there. It's all kind of crazy stuff going on top of the harassment, the bullying, the abuse that I had to endure from the management. You had the customers, the new customers that would come around purposely because of whatever it is that they knew. And so I was being stalked and harassed by the customers, by the management, on work, off work, in my house being watched or listened to. It's like you couldn't get around anything. And so yeah, look. Mendacity, untruthfulness, lying. That's exactly what he was doing. Lying his ass off. So yeah, y'all. I've been talking a long time. It's 38 minutes in. I got some stories for real. I have a whole lot of stories. It's crazy. Once it got crazy, it didn't stop. It just kept going and going and going and going until eventually I lost my job. Fake police officers sitting in my driveway. I leave and come back, ask them what they sitting there for, in plain clothes, plain car, because they just sitting there, just hanging out. And you know, after everything going on, I'm paying attention to everything now. And so I'm like, why are you just sitting there now? Like, what's going on now? What do y'all want now? And so I leave and go to the bank, and I come back. Make sure my battery's still there. So I leave and go to the bank, and I come back, and they're still sitting there. I walk over to the car, or I pull up to it. That's what I did. Because in my mind, when I left, I was like, she's been sitting there for a while. Whoever that is over there, they've been sitting out there for a while. I don't know what they're doing, but I'm going to give them a little bit longer. So I'm going to go to the bank and come back. If I come back and they still sitting right there, I'm going to say something. And so I left, and I came back, and they were still right there. And so I pulled up on her, and I was like, hey, you waiting for somebody? What is it that you're doing? And she was like, oh, no, I'm an officer. I'm on this official police duty. And I was like, official? She was like, yeah, well, not official anymore. I guess saying that I caught her, or it wasn't official anymore because I seen her or whatever the hell. But in the process of that, she flashed this little baby badge. And I was like, can I see that? She would never let me see it. She just flashed it briefly. She wouldn't flash it again. It was this little bitty baby something. I asked for a badge number. She didn't have one. She couldn't give it to me. I asked for her name. She didn't want to give it to me. She kept telling me, just look at the tag. I can get it from her tag. I asked, she even volunteered. She picked up a walkie-talkie, y'all, not even a cell phone. She picked up a walkie-talkie and was like, I can call somebody in. You know, if you don't believe me, I can call somebody in that'll verify it with the walkie-talkie. And I was like, no, I'll just call them myself. She didn't want me to do that. She was like, you don't have to call. You can just take a look at my tag. You can do this, do that. Better yet, I'll just go. I recorded this, y'all. Why did I look back at my recordings and it wasn't even there? And I'm for sure I recorded that. But the only thing that I had there was the car that was pulling off. Because you know you only get 3 minutes of recording through my app. So I recorded her singing all of what she was saying. And maybe I didn't hit save or something because it wasn't there anymore. It was no longer there when I went to look for it. All I could see was her car pulling off and me talking about it. And so I knew whatever video that was right before that must have not been saved or just mysteriously disappeared or something. 4144 I just seen on the phone. Somebody could be part of the 144. And so she pulled on off. I got the tag and everything. I eventually called the police because I thought it was strange that she wouldn't want me to call them and that she would want to radio into somebody and have them come. I don't think she was an officer, but I think whoever she had to radio into probably was or had some type of connections. But I ain't want that. I ain't crazy. I'm like, I'm just gonna call the police. And I did. Later on, I called them, let them know that it was somebody out there I think was impersonating a cop. But the lady, even the lady I got on the phone, y'all, even the person that I got on the phone, the operator, didn't seem real because she just was so nonchalant about it. I just got to the point where I was like, you know what, I'll just go up to the precinct. Oh, no, don't do that. Don't go to the precinct because they're closed. How would you know? You're a 911 operator. How you know the precinct 2 minutes from my house? I drive by it every day. The police officers that drive around here come in and out the precinct. That's where they coming from, right over there. But for whatever reason, even she act like she was in on, and I was like, this is weird. Like, this too much, y'all. It's too much. You got people impersonating police officers. You got people evidently, like if y'all did it to me to sit up in front of my house like you were sitting there, then you probably did it to her too. To Brittany, the one who was so eager to work with the police. And you know, we worked with the police. Yeah, under certain circumstances. We have certain rules, certain protocols that you follow. You can't just do things, but for whatever reason, yeah. My house was definitely being broken into, y'all. No question. No question. They definitely had stuff, probably cameras, devices to listen, all around my house, all around the house. And you can absolutely tell where they were because all the stuff started collecting dust, that dust that's never been there before, like over the years. Sockets would be loose on the wall. More holes would be put in the wall. I see certain things move, like you absolutely knew they were in the house. So yeah, I don't know. I came on here to pull cards and I ended up telling y'all my story. I just seen 440 off. It's funny. 4440 is what it said. 444. Protected. So I don't know. Here it is all this time later and I'm here where I am. They've had time and they've taken their time and thoroughly tried to ruin me. my reputation. Well, my stability. I feel mentally. It's like they wanted to drive me crazy. Oh, that's what it felt like. Like they were literally trying to drive me crazy. I could not go anywhere without being followed, without people sitting, waiting in the parking lots for me of everywhere that I would normally go to, without the staff being changed around in places that I was at. It was crazy. People look like they ex-military or something chasing me in the grocery store. When I say chasing me, I mean I'm walking and they speed walking up behind me to the point where I'm like, okay, and I just turn around because I get up to the checkout lane where I'm about to check out. Wasn't a self-checkout. I was letting someone check me out. And I get over there by them and turn around to immediately see what this is that I feel behind me, because I seen the man coming in and I could feel his energy walking fast behind me. And so I get over there at the checkout and immediately turns around and he pretends like he's looking at something over. Like he just looking at something over on the aisle that was right there, like where all the candy and stuff go. All of a sudden he's interested in that, like, right? So yeah, I would constantly deal with stuff like that. Again, I felt like my food was being tampered with because I would cook with certain things and feel like I would be getting high. And so it made me paranoid about my food that I eat. And so I stopped buying groceries and I started buying things like one at a time and stuff that can't be tampered with. It just got real crazy. Capricorn here. It got real crazy, y'all. And so yeah, after all of that, dealing with all the management and their retaliation and all the customers that would come in for reasons to harass me and just stick around and watch and I don't know, maybe pray over me or pray on me or something. I don't know what they were doing, but I do know the church was there heavily and they went there like for comfort. And so yeah, when this card says the church is involved, they were absolutely involved. You know, the officers used to meet up at the church, so of course the church would be involved in whatever it is. I've never seen that before. Officers over at the church. This may have been why, having or showing extreme greed for wealth or material gain. Earth signs right behind them. Yeah, so eventually I ended up where I am. I left Georgia though. I left because it's like enough. Enough is enough. Y'all fired me from a job that I've been on for 11 years for some, you let somebody fire me who was still learning his job. He didn't even know his job all the way. And I'm in these hotel rooms and I'm still being stalked and harassed. You got people young and old taking pictures of me. You got people look like they from the military driving around. You got Texas, Florida cars surrounding me everywhere I go. They right there with me. Even at the hotels I'm staying in. They meet me at the hotels. They there just like I'm there. Got to a point where I got like, I'm so sick of these people. Like, you can feel, you know who they are. I did anyway. And so what I would do when I seen them is I would flip them off and turn my head in the opposite direction. So I wouldn't even see their reaction. Never would I see their reaction, because I would flip them off with one hand and be looking in the opposite way. And I guess that probably pissed some people off, because one morning I was leaving out of a hotel and I was there waiting to pull out, waiting for the traffic to pass. And this lady, Caucasian lady in the truck, she passed by. And y'all, she flipped me off so hard. It looked like she was so happy to do it. It's like she couldn't wait to do it. And I just know she had to been one of those people that I flipped off before, and she was just waiting for her chance to get me back. But the fact is, how she timed it perfect, how she knew where I was, I was just over it then. Like how, they know where I'm going. They know where I'm at. They know where I'm going to be at a certain time. Like this, it's getting to be too much. And so I just left. I left Georgia. But you know what I did? Came all the way here only to be followed. I seen them on the highway. They followed me to a certain extent. Once I got to a certain extent, then I noticed that other cars, it's like, okay, after you get to a certain, maybe a certain city or a certain state or something, then some cars would have to fall off and then other cars would join in. So I would see this on my way here. I seen them following me. And then just to get way over here, way here in Las Vegas, in Nevada, all these miles away. And these people, like I'm still surrounded. Every time I look up, it's a Texas tag, a Florida tag. I'm like, oh my God, here too? Even at the Airbnb when I first came here. When I first came, I stopped at a couple of hotels before I went to the Airbnb. The hotels was full of military people. I get in the Airbnb. What do you have at the Airbnb that I was in? Texas pulling up. You had Cali. You had some government tags. Yeah. And so, yeah. I've had one hell of a last few years. And like I said, they've worked hard to get me where I am right now. Hard to get me where I am right now. I've lost so much money over time. When this all started, I was saving for a house, y'all. I had about almost $18,000 in my savings account. I was saving for a house when this all started. I have nothing, not one single dollar now. And so, yeah, you can imagine how this has been life-changing for me. Like, this has really ruined everything. Like, I've been walked back. I have debt that I've never had before in my life. I have nothing to buy anything with. I'm just out here like I'm out here. Had money when I came here because I pulled everything out of my 401k. And I used every credit card that I had. Y'all, my credit was good. I almost had an 800 credit score. So I had several credit cards that I hadn't been using, several of them. And I get up here, right when it's time for me to go, then my car gets messed up. And what do? They hold my car all the way until I've spent everything that I have. And then they give me my car back. What am I supposed to do? I didn't think it was an issue at first because Progressive told me that they would pay me, that they would reimburse me, only to find out that they wasn't going to reimburse me. But I didn't find that out until like a week before they called me to come and get my car. So I've spent all my money here on hotel rooms, on food, on gas, on surviving all this time, all my money in a place where I never intended to be. And because I never intended to be here, I didn't bother trying to get a job. I was going to drive Uber or Lyft, but come to find out you have to get everything transferred over here. And I never planned on staying here. And so I didn't bother to try to get a job because I'm like, okay, they're going to reimburse me my money and I could just keep going to where I'm going to. 55 minutes we've been on here, y'all. some change is gonna occur. I hope soon. So I never bothered to get a job because I'm like, okay, they're just gonna give me my money back and then I can take it and go where I was going. And that's where I will just start completely over with my life. Well, it didn't work that way. They made sure I used every dime I had. They didn't reimburse me for anything. And now I'm just stuck here with people just literally pulling up and tapping into me. They pull up and they just do what they want to do. They say what they want to say. They're rude. Can't use the bathroom. You can barely get anything to drink. It's like they want to juice played, Casper shirts worn, all kind of stuff. Like I'm this person. Like I'm this ghostly person or something. It's like everybody just doing weird things and acting weird. And I'm just over it, y'all. I'm over it. Yeah. This is what they act like. Like this was me. But it ain't me. This is what y'all were doing. This not what I do. I don't know, y'all. This has been crazy for me. This has been the experience of a lifetime that I would never like to have again in life. Like I've been pushed so far back, further back than I've ever been before. Oh wow, y'all, he coming again. He's coming again. This man here, he comes every single day, y'all. Thank you.
What did you want to go over there?
Go where?
My place. Just go there and hang out there.
I'm gonna go ahead and end this, y'all. I'll be back.
What was it?
No, I was doing a video.